Greetings everyone, and welcome back to my Assassin's Creed review and ranking series where I take all the games and give them my own personal reviews and ranking. This time we'll be taking a look at Assassin's Creed Rogue from 2014, the first game in the franchise where you play as a Templar instead of an assassin. No, I don't count Hatham in AC3 because that was only the prologue part of the game. This game was released by Ubisoft as the last game of the previous console generation and released side by side with Assassin's Creed Unity, which was for the next gen consoles, and takes a lot from Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag to the point where people were saying that it was basically just a big expansion pack except it's in the Arctic. Now I'm here to see if this game really deserved all that hate and if it holds up to Black Flag. Let's move on to the general gameplay. Spoiler alert, as usual. Okay, here we go. Yes, the overall gameplay and graphics are basically the same as Black Flag, as it reused the same engine and same assets from that game. Obviously, there are several little differences here and there, but the overall look of the game is similar and feels like you're playing Black Flag, but in North America. That's not to say there aren't any differences at all though, as we return to colonial New York during the 7 Years' War, an interesting time period that connects the gap between the golden age of piracy of Black Flag and the American Revolution of AC3. This time, New York looks a lot better, in my opinion, than it did in 3, considering half the city wasn't burned down at the time, and it's definitely more fun to free roam around too. The city is split into several districts that you take over one by one to gain more revenue and income, just like how you would with Brotherhood and Revelations, which is a neat callback. The main new mechanic of this game is the air rifle, this game's version of the blowpipe from Black Flag, which also lets you shoot sleep or berserk darts, but in addition it lets you shoot motherfucking grenades out of that bitch! I just love going around and using my infinite ammo and health cheat and just go around and blow up motherfuckers with my grenades. That doesn't tell you anything about me at all. Oh yeah, you can actually kill innocent civilians in this game without being desynchronized by the game since you play as the enemy team, although you will get hunters going after your ass and it completely goes against the morals of the main character, but we'll get to that soon. You can also sail the open seas of the Appalachian River Valley and the North Atlantic, and I love the peaceful, chilly, icy vibe the North Atlantic gives off, a polar opposite of the Caribbean. Get it? Because I said polar. The ship gameplay is also mostly the same as 4, but with several neat little additions, such as the puckle gun, so now you can freely aim at your opponents in the middle of combat. Once upgraded, your cannons can shoot twice in a row, which is also cool. You can now release burning oil from the rear, and the ship, aka the Morrigan itself, looks better in my opinion once fully upgraded than the Jackdaw, Edward Kenway's ship. Maybe it's because I like the red-black color scheme more, I don't know. Another new gameplay mechanic added to the game are the Assassin Hunters. Because of the fact that you're now playing as a Templar, you're constantly going to have assassins come after you trying to kill you. When you use Eagle Vision, you'll have a compass around you that lets you track down your would-be assassins and assassinate their asses, just like how you would in the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, which is a neat nod to them considering Black Flag was the last game we really got with any kind of multiplayer. Now, let's move on to the main story of this game. The main story of this game is a bit on the shorter side, shorter than most of the games actually, but I still enjoyed it. So this time we follow the story of Shay Patrick Cormac, and he makes his own luck.
I make my own luck.
He started out as an assassin first, but after a certain incident that left millions dead, he decided he'd take his chances and betray his friends and family to join the Templar cause. Quite frankly, he's lucky he even survived his ordeal.
I make my own luck.
I quite enjoyed Shay's character, as he's one of those characters who does whatever it takes to right his wrongs, even if it means killing those he used to call friends. When you think about it, could get a bit dark sometimes. Adewale, Edward's best friend and your quartermaster who was at your side throughout the last game, is in this one, and Shay ends up killing him, so it actually feels like watching a companion of yours die that you cared about, by your own hand nonetheless. Shay's story also connects those of Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 perfectly, as the loose ends from 4 are tied up and Shay's revealed to be the one responsible for wiping out all the assassins that leaves the colonies vulnerable for the Templars and void of assassins until Connor comes in later on. And because of the fact that Rogue and Unity were released side by side, those two games are also tied to each other. The end of the game ties into the beginning of the next game, as it involves Shay assassinating the father of Arnaud, who ends up being the protagonist of Unity, and it's one of the driving forces of his character. So we're lucky to have Shay for that!
I make my own luck.
Because this game comes out between 3 and 4, we get several characters returning from both of the games, including Adewale, who I previously mentioned, but also people like Achilles, Benjamin Franklin, William Johnson, motherfucking Hatham Kenway, and
Charles Lee.
the return of all these characters also serve as a way to have Rogue connect the other 2 games that came before it. Now, remember when I said 3 took liberties by blurring the lines between Assassin and Templar ideology? Well, this game once again makes you question both sides. The colonial assassins here were complete dickholes who were willing to poison New York and continue to destroy cities, while the Templars did their best effort to protect the people and stop the assassins from causing further destruction. Really makes you question who's really the good guys and the bad guys, huh? I love it when they take the 2 ideologies and blur the lines so that they're not so black and white. It makes us feel sympathetic for both sides. Shay may be a complete piece of shit by betraying and killing his former comrades and friends, but I still understand his motives and reasoning and still support him because of it. That's the beauty of having 2 philosophies that have both their pros and cons, neither of them necessarily being completely right. Now we move on to the modern day story of this one, which is very similar to that of Black Flag. Once again, you take control of a new, nameless, voiceless, faceless Abstergo Entertainment employee as you go around with your tablet and hack a bunch of shit and unlock stuff before you're able to go back to your Animus and relive Shay's memories again. It's just like Black Flag's modern day. We all know the historical aspect of the games is what you people come here for, and Ubisoft knows that too. Alright, I think we've got enough for a verdict now. What do you think, Shay?
I make my own luck.
I should have known. Despite all those similarities to Black Flag, I still think Rogue managed to make its own unique identity and its own impact within the franchise. It definitely has one of my favorite stories, and I really like Shay's character.
I make my own luck.
Okay, I think we get it now, Shay, thank you. I really like all the connections it made to previous games and how it tied up all loose ends before we say goodbye to this era of Assassin's Creed and move on to the next generation of games for the next generation of consoles. So with all that in mind, I think I'll give Assassin's Creed Rogue an 8.8 out of 10. Yes, this is the same grade I gave Assassin's Creed 2. That doesn't mean I like it more than 2 though. I think on a purely gameplay-based basis that Rogue is much better and fun to play, but there's just that thing with 2 that keeps you coming back. I don't know if it's the nostalgia or the classic feel that it had, but I still think 2 is better than Rogue in my mind. But the 2 games still get the same rank, if that makes any sense. Whatever, it's my video series and I do what I want with it, so let me know what your thoughts are on my thoughts, and what you would personally rank Assassin's Creed Rogue among the games. Now, before we move on to Unity, I have some loose ends of my own that need tying, and that loose end is called the Assassin's Creed Chronicles Trilogy. Oh boy, I'm gonna need some luck to get through that one. I
make my own luck.
Should have seen that one coming. Thanks for watching, everyone. And remember, nothing is true. Everything is... Wait, this is a Templar game. That's right. May the Father of Understanding guide us.